I'm stranded in the remote wilderness testing the weirdest DIY survival hacks I could find to see if they can actually keep me alive in the middle of nowhere. The only way I can survive is if these actually work. Starting with...
For this fire making hack, all you're gonna need is a plastic bag and to collect some water in it. All right, so now you've got your water. All we have to do is turn it on its side. Then we take one of these corners and then the other corner. So we have 3 of the 4 corners and then we start to twist it up. And then as we start to twist, it'll start turning into a balloon bulb shape. And the rounder it is, the better. This looks perfect. Now all we have to do is wait for the sun.
And it's crazy. The water magnifies the sun and sparks a fire. I was shocked this worked so well.
And there we go. Fire from a plastic bag.
But what if you have a lighter, but it's out of fuel?
Oftentimes in a survival situation, you may have a lighter, but if you're stranded long enough, it may run out of fuel. Most lighters have everything you need to start a fire, even without the fuel. First, take your knife or a sharp rock and collect the thin shavings of plastic that comes from the case. This will serve as your tinder. Now, the part of your lighter that actually sparks is a small ferro rod. If you carefully remove the hood and gently roll the striker, it'll release a small amount of ferro dust that you can collect. Once you've got a good amount of the ferro dust collected, you can spark your lighter and it'll help ignite your tinder.
On to how to purify water in a life-threatening situation.
Step 1 is to collect some dirty water, and then you can place it on an elevated surface like a tree, rock, or a mound of dirt. For now, just place the other container on the ground below. Next step is to go collect about 1 foot of tree branch or 3 to 4 feet of grapevine, and make sure that it's alive, because if it's dead, this trick won't work. Now we gotta place the wood or the vines coming down from this top container and leading into the bottom. Sap usually flows from the inside of the tree to the out. So this part of the branch was closer to the trunk, and this part was closer to the end of the branch. Tiny natural tubes that normally carry water through a plant can also trap bacteria and debris when the water is passed through it. It's pretty crazy. All the dirt is stuck to the end of the tree branch because it's slowly sucking all the water through and into the branch. Well, this thing takes forever, but to my surprise, this actually worked. There goes nothing. Refreshing. The side of pine sap.
We've hacked our way to fire and water, but what about finally catching some dinner?
For this hack, we're gonna be using things you likely already have on your person. Your zipper and your shoelace. Take it. Oh yeah, flopper! I got a flopper! Now this also works with tabs from aluminum cans, but we're gonna assume you only have the clothes on your back. Take a knife or a sharp rock and then peel it out like this. And then sharpen it against a rock. And there we go. An hour later, I got a fish hook. Lastly, attach your shoelace and find some worms. I think there's a cricket under here. Oh. Not a worm, but he'll do the trick. Woo, swamp, swamp. Ooh, I see fish already. Now it's time to use the DIY fishing hook. This might take a while. Man, I can't get a single bite with this technique. It is super hard. But our next hack will help you cook the fish when you finally catch it. If you find an aluminum can, you can turn it into a windproof portable oven. Simply cut a capital I shape into the front of the can, open it up, and stuff your tinder inside it. And then, once it's lit, you've got a portable windproof oven. Now we have hacks to help you with everything you might need to survive in the wild, except for shelter. Let's go do that next. Oh. Tents are infamously hard to set up and can cost you a pretty penny. But what if you had nothing at all and just a tarp? First, we've got to stake down the long sides. Now, all we need is a big stick to go in the middle. It's a little tall, I gotta trim it. I can't reach. That's manageable. Boom, here you go, your completely waterproof shelter. And it's actually pretty roomy. Super roomy in here, although my tent's got a few holes in it. But what if you have nothing
and you still need a shelter.
So for our other shelter hack, I'm gonna show you how to build a simple shelter with no tools. So find 2 trees that are close to each other, and then we'll hammer in a simple, thin log between the 2 to act as our first support. Next, we'll take some large sticks and lay them vertically around the shelter. Now we need to collect some vines, roots, and whatever's available in your environment to fasten some sticks horizontally across the shelter. Next, we've just got to cover it in branches, moss, and leaves, and voila! Pretty soon we'll have a sturdy shelter made with no tools to help you survive. Voila! We have a sturdy shelter made with no tools to help you survive. Even though this is a shelter, it's still not home. These next hacks will help you get there.
One of the most surefire ways to be seen by a plane is a signal fire. No pun intended. The most effective signal fires have tons of smoke. You want to make sure and use tons of dried out leaves, brown foliage, and dried out wood. But to make a signal fire, we're going to do the exact opposite. Think branches filled with green needles, wet moss, or fresh green grass. To show you what this looks like from a plane's perspective, I'll take my drone up. But what if a plane isn't coming for you and you're all alone? Our next hack will help with that.
All you need is a thin piece of metal, like a safety pin, fishing hook, or even just a sewing needle and a magnet. You can then put it on a leaf with some water and it'll naturally align itself with north and south. One thing you've got to be sure is you've got to pick the magnet up every time after you put it on. So now all I have to do is place my leaf in the water, put my needle on top, and we should be able to find north. Now we can just put some water in our big leaf, we'll be ready to go. Look at that, it's already spinning around to north. Even if I move it, it goes right back to north. And even if you don't have a leaf, you can find bodies of water and just carry your compass with you. Assuming you magnetized it back to front, the front will always point north. And now, you just want to be sure you're headed in the right direction to get yourself back to safety.
Well, those hacks would probably get me rescued, but what if nobody comes? Oftentimes in a survival situation, you'll have to traverse through water to make your way back. Our next DIY hack will help you stay afloat. This next one is a classic, and for good reason. Studies say that 50 to 60% of people can't swim well enough to save their own life in an emergency situation.
First, take off your pants. We gotta tie the pant leg at the bottom. And finally, we gotta slam them into the water and try and trap air inside.
If done right, the pants will puff up with air and you've just made yourself an emergency flotation device. Now we just have to hold the waistband closed and loop it around our neck and shoulders, and it should keep our torso afloat.
I'm alive! Now, as you lose air, you're gonna have to retrap more water. It's not great, but it'll buy you hours in a survival situation. Hey, Meta, look and see where I am.
You are in a forested area with tall trees surrounding you.
Meta, I am stranded in the wilderness, and I need to survive the night.
Thunderstorms are expected at 4 p.m., which is in about 1 minute.